The views and opinions expressed in this program are those of the participants and do not necessarily reflect the views and positions of the agency.
Welcome to DYCD Next Gen. I'm your host, Ryan Cooks. Our monthly podcast features the very latest on everything DYCD has to offer, and we will go right to the heart of the story, speaking to young people about the issues they face in their daily lives. We've now reached the month of August, and with summer coming to an end, it also means celebrating another great season of the Summer Youth Employment Program, or SYEP. Again this year, there were a record of 100,000 young people connected to paid opportunities throughout the city, with the support of thousands of work sites and nonprofit partners. Today, we welcome three of those 100,000 young people, Josiah, Juan, and Mahalia, and they are here to discuss their SYEP experiences and reflect on what they've learned. Welcome to DYCD Next Gen, guys. Welcome.
Thank you.
Thank you for having us.
Sure.
Could each of you tell us a bit about yourselves, how old you are, and where you work this summer?
Hi, my name is Mahalia. I'm from Queens, and for this summer, I worked at Con Edison in the law department.
My name is Josiah. I worked at Accenture this summer. And
hi, everyone. I'm Juan. I'm from the Bronx, and this summer I was an intern at the New York City Department for the Aging.
Talk about your primary responsibilities during your internship and how did they evolve over the summer? Like, what was your main task, your main goals? Like, what was your responsibilities at this internship?
So I was in the Office of Human Resources, specifically in a unit called Internships and Youth Workforce Engagement. And sort of our work is to support and manage all of the interns at the agency. My job in particular was to provide scholarship opportunities for all of the interns, and then sometimes lead committees, other times just sort of manage around timekeeping situations. There wasn't a single day where things were the same. Sometimes I would be a part of meetings. I was also interning for the director himself. So anything that he needed help in particular, that's something that I was able to step in. I think that the other crux of my work too was sort of segmenting the work and the role. The role itself, the position that I was in, it was sort of new. So I sort of wanted to think about future interns who would be in the position that I was in, and sort of think about the resources that they would need to sort of be successful. And so I created a lot of guides, a lot of documents, a lot of written ways that they can sort of look back to in the future and be able to know and understand what the role entailed.
I worked at Accenture, and through Accenture, I was at a consulting firm. So we would deal with multiple big agencies like Macy's and JD Sport and stuff like that, just consulting as far as what can we do to help their problems. And me personally, I was with Macy's, and with that pairing, they wanted to scale up their business. So we would have to scale up Macy's and make new features where they would be able to bring in a new demographic of Gen Z, Gen X, and millennials and keep increasing their demographics since they were losing to their competitors.
So in the Con Edison Law Department, they have a program called Law Manager. And then there's another website called SYEP. So SYEP has like all the cases information. And so I would update information between SYEP and Law Manager. And I would say like the role I played changed over time because it got more like hands-on. So I started updating information, and then like as time went on, like I would go to court and just see like how everything like came to life.
I know over the course of the internship, you've probably developed a lot of skills, learned a lot of new things. So like, what skills do you feel you guys developed or improved the most during your time?
I personally feel like my public speaking and my team building skills were definitely impacted by working at Accenture. I was able to be more comfortable going up into a crowd of people and just speaking my mind and saying my opinion without having to feel like everyone's judging me or anything else. It was really calming and really relaxing. And as far as team building, I was able to work with new people and not only get to understand how they worked as people, but also get to understand what their flaws were and how can I work with that. So it was really a great, great, great experience.
For me in particular, I think very similar to Josiah, I think my networking skills got a lot better. The ability to sort of shake everyone's hand and sort of introduce myself. That's something that before the office setting, I was a little bit afraid to do, to sort of put myself out there. But when you're in the professional field and when you want to get ahead, you need to build your brand. You need to sort of let people know who you are. And that's something that I was able to really tap into this summer, for sure.
Public speaking skills were like put to test because, as you can tell, I am shy. But being in a corporate setting, I was forced to step outside of my comfort zone. And also just like having respect, like saying good morning to everyone.
Was there a moment or like a certain project this summer that you're particularly proud of? And if so, why?
So we were tasked week 2 to create a end of internship video. And originally, the video was meant to be shown only to the interns and the supervisors to sort of commemorate the work and appreciate everyone. However, the first deputy commissioner loved it so much that he wanted it to show it in the assembly and in the team building picnic, both of which the chief deputy mayor was a part of, and she was able to sort of see it, and the commissioner of the agency was able to see it. So although it started something that was meant to be internal, the fact that it was able to sort of get out there and more higher level people were able to see it, that's something that I'm going to carry with me for the rest of my life.
With a capstone project, so with Macy's, we were spreading it and promoting it to actual business owners and, higher ups in the corporations. And for me, that was kind of nerve-wracking at first until I realized that I did all of the research. So with that in my mind, I knew that I was comfortable with what I had learned enough to speak to higher ups and be confident in my speech to the point where they can understand what I'm trying to say and they could see that I actually did a lot of research and I'm very knowledgeable on the subject. And that really was a great moment for me because I've never presented anything to anyone with high status, So with that being done already, it gave me a new type of confidence where I could just speak to anyone no matter what their position was or where they were from. And I could just have that confidence knowing who I am as a person.
Let's talk a bit about, challenges, right? What challenges did you guys face during your internship and how did you overcome those?
Well, I had a major challenge at first because me and my group, we were working, but we were kind of slacking off after we did a lot of work. And that ended up causing us to not only lose a lot of progress, but also set us back in terms of where we were compared to everyone else. So towards the end, we had to really pick up the pace and change gears. And that was a huge challenge since we were last minute working, which is always hard for anyone. If you do anything last minute, you know that when you do that, you put yourself under a lot of stress and it causes you to be really nervous and really confuddled with how much is going on around you. So it was really difficult, but we made sure to get it done.
Getting used to like the new corporate environment was a challenge, but one thing I did do was I made sure to go like before the start time. So the start time was for 9. So I got there at like 8:50 and I just made myself friendly to like adjust and adapt to the new environment.
And in the same vein as adjusting to the professional setting, I too would say that I sort of struggled a little bit with that. It's my first time in a government agency and I sort of didn't really understand what are the ins and outs of working in government. And one of the big aspects of it is that you have to be very independent. No one is going to be there to hold your hand. No one is going to be there to constantly remind you, hey, this needs to get done. And so I had to gain a lot of independence and a lot of sort of trust within me that I can get the work done and I can do it well and I can get it done on time without needing to have someone behind me sort of shadowing my work. At first I sort of like expected someone to sort of micromanage me at all times. Mm-hmm. That's something that I feel like when you're in high school, you get used to by your teachers, but adjusting to this professional space was a change. It was a challenge for sure.
How did your SYEP experience align with your career interests or future goals?
I want to be a lawyer, but like the ultimate goal is to be a judge. And so being placed in the law department kind of made me see like the day-to-day of lawyers and like what they go through and like how they handle different trials and cases.
How they operate, basically.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think for me, I too also want to be a lawyer, or I guess I would change that and say that I'm more interested in the law, because one of the things that I realized is that public service is something that I want to do. So although initially I didn't think it aligned with my career interests, after this internship, I've realized that sort of having a mission-driven work and having impact on the city I love and helping the population here, that's something that I want to carry with me and do in the future. So whether or not I was working with the law this summer, I think the greater picture of serving the people is something that I want to do for sure.
I personally want to deal with finance and stocks. And at Accenture, they had a floor where it was dedicated to just that. And seeing the environment and what people were doing, it really made me feel more comfortable with the career that I chose.
What did you learn about the workplace or the professional environment that you didn't know before? Juan, I remember you talked about how you didn't fully understand the ins and outs of like government work and everything. So was there anything else that like stood out to you that you didn't know or like that you've learned now?
I think in the office setting, people are very big on their boundaries, for sure. If it's your lunchtime, take your lunchtime. There is no, I'll skip it, I'll waddle. You know what I mean? Like it's it's strict in ways, that make you sort of realize that sometimes you need to put space between your personal life and your work. And that's a feature that I was able to really appreciate during my time there. There were times where I thought of, I'll just take this work home and I'll complete it home. It's like doing homework when I'm in school. So I had to learn, no, I cannot do that. I'm scheduled from 9 to 5 and the work is going to be completed from 9 to 5, not before, not after. But that's something that I was able to learn for sure after this internship.
So I wouldn't say I didn't know, but I would say that I didn't take the idea as serious that you need to get your work done before you start playing around or, slacking off. So I basically slacked off and played around and felt like what I was doing was adequate to what I needed to get done when it really wasn't in the whole reality. And with that being learned, I understand now that if I don't have everything I need to get done, then I shouldn't be slacking off. I shouldn't be playing around until I do everything that I need to do.
I would say like how independent everybody is. Because I guess...
Yeah, independence and everything. So I'm sure you guys had, a mentor or a supervisor to help you through this whole ordeal. How did your supervisor, your mentor, support your growth throughout the internship?
Shout out to Michaela and Juan Pablo, JP. They were great cohort leaders. They actually helped us with a lot of maturing during the whole internship. Since we were young and we were still in school, we are around everyone our age. We think it's okay to just, speak however you want and do things as if it didn't really matter. But we made sure to put it in our heads that we were in a business establishment, and we need to treat it as so. So all of the playing around and joking around is cool, but it's a time and a place for the certain things that you do.
Exactly.
So you have to be very careful when you're around adults because they're watching your every move, especially if you're an intern. They're going to want to see how you move and what type of things you're getting into before you ever try to come back or say you're interested in coming back. So I just want to give them a great shout out. They did very well.
Shout out to Carlos. He has been more than a supervisor to me. Like you said, he's been a mentor, a teacher, an educator. He is an individual who was able to anticipate my needs, made me feel very welcomed from the very beginning. I think that those little things for me really went a long way. I also feel like he just provided so much input and advice that he didn't necessarily need to. Like, he didn't need to lend a hand. He didn't need to sort of care about my well-being much more than the job duties. And the fact that he was able to show concern for my development is something that I greatly appreciate. And all of this to say is that hosting an intern, I acknowledge that is an extra. Like, it's not something that anyone has to do. And so the fact that he was able to take me under his wing and teach me the ways and sort of not penalize me, sort of take every opportunity as a learning opportunity and as a growth moment, that's something that I will always be grateful for.
my supervisor, Kelly. So when I walked in, I expressed my interest in the law, and she is a St. John's alumna. I will be attending St. John's in September.
Okay, congrats.
Thank you. Thank you. So I had expressed to her that I was interested in the law, and so she basically set up different meetings. So I was able to meet with the vice president of the legal council and like everyone in the higher ups. And they basically gave me advice as to what to focus on in school and like what classes to take and like how law school works and things like that.
Now that you guys have completed your internship and everything, what advice would you give to a new SYEP intern that would start next summer?
You make the experience in a way. So you receive your job duties, you know what to do, but it's really up to you to sort of lean into the work and be interested in the things that you're doing. I think that I met people in my internship that were sort of very uninterested and were not stimulated by the work, and so they probably had a different kind of experience than I did. But I know that for me in particular, I'm leaving this internship with so many tools under my belt. I think that I went above and beyond and sort of took every opportunity I was able to get. So I would just say lean into the experience, participate in every way that you can.
To piggyback off of what Juan said, the experience is what you make it. You have to make sure that you're there for a reason. So if you come there just there to get money, that's not a good enough reason for you to put in enough work. You're not going to want to do above and beyond, like Juan has said. You're not going to want to do more than what they ask you to do. You're going to just be bored doing exactly what they tell you to do, or sometimes even doing less because you just don't want to be there. So you have to really appreciate the experience, but also make sure that you understand this represents you as well. So when you come there, you're representing yourself. When you leave there, you're also representing yourself. So you have to make sure from the time that you enter and the time that you leave, you put in your full foot.
I would just say, like, don't let the pay rate define how you operate, because if you approach and, like, take on the job with, like, a positive mindset and you're passionate, people would see that you're passionate, and then more opportunities will come to you.
Has y'all experience this summer, has it changed your perspective on work, school, or, like, your future path in any way?
I think my experience just confirmed, like, this is what I want to do. Like, I do want to get into law and I do want to become a judge.
For me, it's opened up my perspective on what I want to do in the future. I see myself in city government. I see myself perhaps working with the law. I just think that my horizons have expanded a lot more. And that's very exciting as I'm starting my freshman year at Swarthmore. Thank you. I sort of want to take everything that I've learned and test the waters out a little bit more and really dig deep and find the thing that I want to do.
I personally believe that this opened up a lot of ideas and doors for me, because being in a consulting firm, you have to understand people, but also get used to dealing with people as well. So with that being said, in every job, there's a sense of that. There's kind of a little sprinkle of that in everywhere. But in consulting, it really shows you that these people aren't always going to be nice to you. These people aren't always going to feel their best. They're not always going to speak their best to you. And sometimes people are going to have certain emotions show towards you that may not actually be because of you, but because of something else going on. And when you experience that, you realize that anywhere you go, you're going to have to adapt. So with that being said, I've gained a lot of adaptability skills, and I feel like I could work anywhere at this point.
I like that. If you guys could change or add one thing to improve your SYEP experience or improve the SYEP experience, what would it be and why?
Maybe a few more dollars, like
Yes.
like 26 or 20 an hour.
I feel like a lot of people would agree on that.
Yeah, a few more dollars, And then also a big one that I just thought of now. After working there, I feel like it should be an option where you could work there full time if they allow you.
Oh yeah.
I feel like that would be great.
I'm quite content with my experience, so I don't really have anything except the more money. More money.
Yeah.
I would just say more money. That's really
More money?
Wait, I have one actually. They should also give us lunch vouchers because buying lunch down here around this area
cost you an arm and a
is
leg. Yeah.
expensive. Like, please.
Yeah.
I was blessed to get 2 lunches out of the week, so
Really?
yeah.
Oh,
Oh,
no.
wow.
Where was that?
Essential, man.
Do you guys have anything else you'd like to share? Anything you want to say before I close it out?
I just want to thank you guys for giving us this opportunity and allowing us to sort of share a snippet of the work we've done this summer.
I want to personally thank everyone who recommended me this podcast. I also want to thank God for putting me in this position and leading me where I am now. Thank you, Jesus, for also guiding me and giving me the words to say, the wisdom to speak towards other people out there who are my age and still trying to learn. And I want to thank you guys as well for making it a comfortable experience, not only welcoming us at the front door, but also keeping a smile on your face and keeping a positive energy going. Thank you guys.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
I would also like to thank my parents because, like, for me personally, like, hearing SYEP, you would think, oh, I'm going to have to, like, babysit kids, like, do, like, things that are boring. But it's because my father pushed me to apply. And I really did not know that I was going to get into, like, a corporate firm or, like, even Con Edison. So, like, just having a village to support me, I'm very thankful for that.
It takes a village, right? Yeah. So that's great. And that concludes today's discussion. For more information on DYCD, check out nyc.gov/DYCD, or be sure to follow us on Instagram, Facebook, X, YouTube, and LinkedIn. Join us again next month for another episode of DYCD Next Gen. Once again, I'm Ryan Cooks, and thank you for listening. And thank you guys for being on the show. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.